Aloha, everyone. Michelle with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com. And I am so excited about interviewing Robert today. How many locations have you gone to or pictures have you studied over the past, 7 years?
I've been to 38 fire aftermaths, mostly in California, a few in Southern Oregon, and taken 107 trips to all of them. So I've done a lot of footwork collecting evidence at every site except perhaps three that I deemed were normal forest fires that we know of. And some pictures came up on the internet that didn't compute to me. And when I share my screen here, I'm going to show you some of those. Yeah, all the houses are missing their white ash, but what are all the trees doing there? Many of these are pines and eucalyptus and very flammable leaves. It just made no sense to me. And this is a horrific firestorm, they said. Why are all the trees still there? When I see forest fires, the trees are burned up. The needles are gone. The twigs are gone. Many of the branches are gone. Sometimes the trunk is burned down halfway or all the way to a low stump and even holes in the ground. That's the way they burn. No exception. They don't leave their needles on there. With their needles on there, how do we even call it a forest fire? The forest didn't burn. And this happened again and again, so I started analyzing fires everywhere. I finally found a YouTube video of John Lord and Matt Dakin. They're both 30-year fire captains, one out of Petaluma and one out of San Ramon. They saw all the anomalies that I saw. Showed them all my work, and they said I was exactly right. And many of the fire captains and other workers have said, we've never seen fires like this, or the fires were so hot we couldn't even get close to them to put them out. I saw this picture on the internet, from a drone possibly, and I see these buildings, a Jack in the Box, McDonald's, and a gas station. And they're just completely burned, leaving only metals and stone. But what I see is the trees. All of them did not burn. And how did a fire cross a freeway? This is Highway 101 in the Santa Rosa area. You got 200 yards of no trees before you get to these buildings, but yet they burned and nothing else. And anybody who's gone to a fast food, you notice there's no wood showing. It's all plastics and metals and terracotta and newer building materials. Fires don't just start on these types of buildings. And so over the years, I've come to different conclusions. I believe most of these fires are microwave based. They're not normal wood fires that we know of. This is in Maui now. I've taken some of the pictures off the internet here. The same stuff exactly that I've seen in California. No different, all the same fire footprints, things that don't make sense. Here, a home's on fire and nothing else. So this is common now. Here you have, it looks like a grove of eucalyptus trees. I'm not positive on the species. The whole left, they didn't burn. Meanwhile, the house is just gone. The cars, they all look like this. They'll be dented up. The windows will be melted out. Now, the auto glass melts approximately at 2,500 degrees.
Whoa.
Forest fires don't get that hot. A
It's like,
full-fledged forest fire goes up to 1,400.
yeah, I was just going to say 1400.
Unless you're adding different accelerants or really burning some hot wood, you're not getting above those temperatures. Perhaps here and there you would, but it would not melt these windows. You notice the doorknobs are always gone. The rims, if they're an alloy or an aluminum, they melt out at 1,221 degrees. That doesn't happen. Your fires on the ground that are in the grass, if they're a couple inches off the ground, they're only 300 degrees. The two fire captains educated me on that. They never see rims melted out in a combined 60 years of service. Sometimes they'd get to a car late in the day because they were busy and the car fire was already out. The rims still didn't melt out. Here you look at all the houses. They're white ash. Where's the black? Where's the carbon? So you're thinking intense heat. Well, why are all the trees still there? They're a little thin. I'm sure every one of them's dead. Perhaps some of the palm trees will come back. A palm tree is easy to light on fire. They burn up in a second. They're like grass. They're thin. If it doesn't ignite, these leaves just kind of wilt and turn dark colors. Another anomaly. They should all have been gone. With this kind of heat, everything should have been gone. Should have been stumps of trees. That didn't happen.
And it should be black, not white.
That's right. Out of these 38 aftermaths I've been, 35 of them I deem were unnatural fires. Now I wanted to put some boats in there because I heard all the boats, even anchored out in the harbor, they burned up. One of them had a glass bottom boat. What's the fire doing 80 or 100 feet out in the water burning up? The six media giants always say, well, the flying embers. Every station I've noticed, the flying embers get under the eaves. Really? So an ember is like from a volcano. It's heavy. These aren't little brown bags that are on fire that are floating through the air all the way out there and burn that thing up completely. I'd say
Hmm.
it's impossible, but there's the picture. And another boat in the background. This doesn't happen. There's the other boat. Can do that? What float flies out there and does that kind of damage? Even if a little flame did get out there, it's just not going to do that. Yeah, here's a Jeep, I guess. Fires
Wow.
don't do this. The whole hood, it got so hot, the metal hood melted out. That's pushing 2,750 degrees. So what could do that? You don't have enough fuel in this Jeep. And I don't mean gasoline. I mean the fuels, the plastics, the seats, the cushions. All that isn't enough to get this. If it happened to one, okay, that's an anomaly. Every single vehicle, house is missing, or a metal shop, whatever it is. I see dead trees, but a firestorm would have left sticks. There'd be no leaves on it. That's your fire, the leaves. Here's some nice trees here. They're probably dead. There's your cars, same old scenario. Here's your windows and rims again, and there's trees in the background. It's the same thing wherever I go. This looks like the place burned up for hours and hours. And there's a tree to your right. Yeah, now the twigs would burn right behind the leaves. They didn't. Hanging over two houses. Oh my God. Here's your trees in the background. It's the giant banyan tree I've heard about. Here you have a fire all the way around it. Even the boats were on fire. Yet the banyan tree's dead, it looks like, but it didn't burn up. Why isn't it burned up? The building in front was toasted. The roof's gone. The window's gone. Everything's gone. It's the wrong flame. And that's my only answer to that. I can't describe what the flame's composition is. I just know there's microwave in there somewhere. Matt, John, and I actually figured they're coming from satellites.
A lot of people don't even believe in direct energy weapons because they don't understand how long this has been going on for, and that we are truly out of war, and they are murdering our children, our keiki, our ohana. When do we fight back? I know it's a lot, and especially for Lahaina people, they've lost everything.
But this isn't isolated. They're doing this around the planet.
Yeah.
So all this, and they want to call it global this, global that, climate this, like all that's a lie.
Tesla founded the direct energy beam actually in the 1930s, right before he died when he was 80 years old. And we actually have a Direct Energy Weapons Act, and I think it was the Act of 1976, I think it was. And there was actually a direct energy weapons lab facility on Maui. There's only two in the United States. One is in Nevada and one is in Maui. Have you researched the microwave energy?
Not entirely. I've read stuff, I've watched videos. They always act like we don't have that technology yet, but we're working on it. Of course they've got it. And this isn't happening from 5G or a plane passing over. We think they're coming from satellites because it's concentrated on an area for hours. Planes fly back and forth. We don't think little drones are doing it. I'm not ruling out any possibility. To me, this was a kill city, my own term. They weren't letting people out of the city. They were making you stay there. That's your police department. The firemen didn't show up, or very few did. They turned the cell phones off, I hear, for the town.
Yep,
They also turned the water off in the town. This was planned, who knows, 6 months or a year before. And all these larger entities are told or in on it to some degree. They're told what to do. Even your people in office.
Oh, absolutely.
Charge of the island. If there's a good guy, they're not at their levels. All these people have a lot of evil in them.
Yeah, the governor actually, he put out an emergency proclamation with no emergency 3 weeks before the fire, and he suspended 7 laws that affect housing and land development.
And also, what's going on shortly after the fire's out? Immediately, the big corporations jump in there, kind of a disaster capitalism. They repair the roads right away. They put in brand new telephone poles as fast as they can. They dig up the road and put in new culvert pipes that go under the road. 4 or 5 different aftermaths. I've been looking for those. And sure enough, where the fire crossed the road, they pulled every pipe out, no matter what depth, and replaced them with either plastic or poured a cement one, So you look at this photo, and here's your palm trees. Why didn't all the leaves burn off in a microsecond?
It's atrocious what they're doing.
Yeah, they make up the rules as they go along. I know the whole Hawaiian people are really mad and they want to do something. Get it out to the whole world, show all the information, show anomalies like I do that should have never happened, and talk about the whole infrastructure being shut down. We hold all the evidence, but they hold all the cards. That's the hard part. They won't let us get on the media, on TV, and show stuff like this. The truth will never get out unless we get it out like this, with our cell phones, little meetings all over the planet, and educate everybody. That's the only way we're going to get to them.